So I'm now joined by Kamran Bokhari, the Director of Analytical Development at the New Lines Institute for Strategy and Policy, joins us from Virginia. So the United States retains the ability to carry out drone strikes in Afghanistan after this troop withdrawal, as it does in other countries. The Secretary of State was emphasizing that point today. But to what extent has the withdrawal complicated their ability to identify a strong resurgence of ISIL-K in parts of Afghanistan, particularly when they might not have the benefit of intelligence gathering that comes from that physical presence?
Yes, that does become a challenge, especially as the state that, or the government, the ruling authority in Kabul has collapsed. The United States was relying on that as a partner, both in Kabul and in the various regions throughout the country. I mean, security partners, whether it was the National Directorate of Security, the Intelligence Service, or Afghan National Defense Security Forces, or other allied partners that are regional militias and whatnot that are allied against the Taliban. Now, that with that not being there, according to the U.S. deal with the Taliban, it was that entire deal was about the Taliban making sure that their country will not be used by transnational jihadists to launch attacks against other countries. So now that's, in theory, that works. If you just leave it to the Taliban, but in reality it doesn't, because A, the Taliban do not have an incentive to go after people on behalf of the United States. They lose credibility, as I argued in my piece for the Wall Street Journal. Second, that creates a dependency on the part of the United States on the Taliban to share intelligence. And then the question is, how reliable is that intelligence? And so, yes, there are many, many complications that the United States is just trying to sort through as we speak.
Isn't that precisely what's happening now, though? The Americans are already relying on the Taliban to keep American lives safe just during the process of this withdrawal, and there is already that cooperation and intelligence sharing, particularly perhaps after that meeting with the CIA director who was reported to have been in Kabul.
Absolutely, and that meeting was very critical. It comes at a great risk to Mullah Brother, who actually met Director Burns, and because it sort of paints him as an ally of the United States. You can't tell your foot soldiers and all the tens of thousands, and the number is actually exceeding 100,000 who fought for the Taliban during the insurgency. You can't tell all those people that we were fighting with the United States and now all of a sudden we're allies. And so it's the warping of their ideology. And so this is a real conundrum for the Taliban to do this. And then, of course, if the Taliban cannot maintain internal coherence, in addition to their intent, which is unclear at best. And so what is the United States supposed to do in terms of that human aspect, the human intelligence aspect? I mean, we're good on ELINT and signal intelligence and satellite imagery, but we need eyes on the ground to augment these operations. So I think this is going to be a bit of a challenge.
How is the Taliban going to manage ISIL-K with the commitment you mentioned there that it made to the U.S. in that deal to secure the withdrawal of American troops? It would prevent Afghanistan being used as a base for groups like ISIL-K to operate freely. How are they going to balance that, those two factors?
That's a great question, Mariam. So here's the issue. I think that there will be those actors that the Taliban want eliminated, and if the United States is doing it for them, then that works fine for them. It just depends upon how badly they want those eliminated. Are these high-value targets? Do they weaken ISIS-K? And where they are. I mean, there are a lot of foreign fighters who can't be easily distinguished. Are they Taliban? Are they ISIS-K? Are they Haqqani? Are they AQ? Are they other jihadists from other countries in Central Asia and the Russian Federation, Uyghurs, for example. So this is going to become a complicated battle space. It already is in many ways, and therefore the Taliban cannot be trusted to sort of be ready to provide intelligence when the United States needs it. If the United States sees something going on electronically, then I don't think that we're going to have to rely on the Taliban, say, to play ball. And I don't think they'll play ball because they can't go too far in this direction So they'll probably be behaving like the Pakistani state has over the years, where drone strikes were, facilitated from Pakistani soil, and there was sort of like, okay, plausible deniability that, there was the argument that, oh, our sovereignty is being violated, but yet there was cooperation at the intelligence and military level. I think we're going to have that kind of a gray area in which the Taliban are going to operate. But look, this is a very terrible situation to be in.
Thank you, Kamran Bokhari, for joining us there from Virginia.